Earlier today, Ramaphosa met with Donald Trump, and they were discussing about a lot of things. And there is something Donald Trump said in that particular video I'm going to be sharing with you. Or he said, South Africans are unaliving whites, South Africans that are farmers. So, there are times when we hear those people, they are trying to put out a propaganda, trying to tell people that South Africa is unsafe for the white people to live in. And let's hear what Ramaphosa had to say to Donald Trump, because this allegation is a big one, and it's gonna bring a big problem to the name of South Africans and South Africa as a country. Please don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe.
Engagement. For us, that was one of the key outcomes that we had wanted. Our objective in coming here was to reset relations between the two countries and to reposition our relations, which had become contaminated by some of the issues that had been raised during the engagement, or what many people thought was also contaminating relations, for instance, the ICJ case and Ukraine, Russia, and all that. And it turned out that, yes, President Trump's concern is about the safety of people in South Africa, much as he zeroed it down to, say, white farmers. We kept saying there is a security problem, and we're not running away from that. There's criminality, and we even sought to deal with it from its genesis, that in the end, when the economy is not growing, when there's poverty, when there's unemployment, one of the social ills that we get as a derivative is criminality that spreads itself around the country. It's not only on farms or rural areas, it's even in urban areas. So he expressed his views about that, and I was rather pleased that quite a number of our compatriots were able to deal with that, including Minister Steenhuisen and President of COSATU as well. So in the discussions over lunch, we didn't dwell on that issue, it having been dealt with more thoroughly during the engagement in the Oval Office. However, they did ask, what help do you need? And we said, well, already in South Africa, we're utilizing some technology in one of the areas in our country, which we would like to see if we can be utilized. But the main thing we said in terms of assistance and help is investments. And we harped on that we require more investments from the United States, and we require a more positive disposition from the United States, because once the United States government and the president emits a very positive disposition towards South Africa, it unlocks a lot of investments, and investors would then be willing to come and invest their money. We want foreign direct investment. We want to keep the jobs that we have that have been created by U.S. companies, and we want more and more U.S. companies to come and invest. And Minister Tau also explained that one of the U.S. companies has invested in a lithium company in our country, and that shows a positive disposition towards South Africa. We want that to increase, and one of the key confidence building measures or mechanisms is the engagement that is going to continue on investments, on tariffs, and an investment climate creation in South Africa, and our access to the American market. And continued discussions over AGOA are now going to ensue much more determinedly going forward. So for us, during the lunch discussion, that was the big takeaway, a very, very positive indication. Of course, we couldn't discuss details, because those details will be ironed out during those engagements. The Secretary of Commerce was present, as Minister of Trade and Industry was also present. We also discussed the G20, and we stressed that the G20 having been formed by the United States, of course together with other countries, it's important that the United States should continue playing a key role in the G20, more particularly because I want to hand over the presidency of the G20 to President Trump in November. And I said he needs to be there. I don't want to hand over the presidency of the G20 to an empty chair. I want to hand it over to him sitting in that chair in November. And he is going to give serious consideration to it. In fact, I expect him to be coming to South Africa, and he, having realized the important role that the United States continues to play in international or multilateral formations or organizations like the G7 and the G20. And he having said, of course, the G7 would be much more impactful with the participation of the United States, as the G20 would be more impactful in global matters.
A lot of people are very concerned with regard to South Africa, and that's really the purpose of the meeting, and we'll see how that turns out. But we have many people that feel they're being persecuted, and they're coming to the United States. And we take from many locations if we feel there's persecution or genocide going on. And we had a lot of people. I must tell you, Mr. President, we have had a tremendous number of people, especially since they've seen this. Generally, they're white farmers, and they're fleeing South Africa, and it's it's a very sad thing to see. But I hope we can have an explanation of that, because I know you don't want that. It's a kind of a different meeting. Normally we have meetings, we talk about trade, and we'll be talking about trade and other things. But that certainly will be a subject that comes up. Yeah.
It will take President Trump listening to the voices of South Africans, some of whom are his good friends, like those who are here. When we have talks between us around the quiet table, it will take President Trump to listen to them. I'm not going to be repeating what I've been saying. I would say if there was Afrikaner farmer genocide, I can bet you these three gentlemen would not be here, including my Minister of Agriculture. He would not be with me. So it'll take him, President Trump, listening to their stories, to their perspective.
Turn the lights down and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South African occupy land. That's who we are.
This is very bad. These are burial sites right here. Burial sites. Over 1,000 of white farmers, and those cars are lined up to pay love on a Sunday morning. Each one of those white things you see is a cross, and there's approximately 1,000 of them. They're all white farmers, the family of white farmers. And those cars aren't driving, they're stopped there to pay respects to their family member who was killed. And it's a terrible sight. I've never seen anything like it. People are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases they're being killed. And that scene of, you see how many crosses they have. Those crosses, that's a dead person in every one of them. And those trucks or cars are paying their respects to all of those dead people on a Sunday morning. That's a rough thing to explain away.
What would you like President Ramaphosa to do about the situation that we've just seen on the screen?
I don't know. Look, these are articles over the last few days. Death of people. Death, horrible death, I don't know. To pick anyone, white South Africans are fleeing because of the violence and racist laws, and this is all.
We have a multi-party democracy in South Africa that allows people to express themselves, political parties to adhere to various policies, and in many cases, or in some cases, those policies do not go along with government policy. Our government policy is completely against what he was saying, even in the parliament. And they're a small minority party, which is allowed to exist in terms of our constitution.
But you do allow them to take land.
No.
You do allow them to take land.
Nobody can take land.
And then when they take the land, they kill the white farmer. And when they kill the white farmer, nothing happens to them.
No, there is
nothing happens.
There is criminality in our country. People who do get killed, unfortunately through criminal activity, are not only white people. Majority of them are black people. And we have now been utilizing...
The farmers are not black. I don't say that's good or bad, but the farmers are not black. And the people that are being killed in large numbers, and you saw all those grave sites, and those are people that loved ones going, I guess on a Sunday morning they told me, to pay respect to their loved ones that were killed. Their heads chopped off. They died violently.
Guys, I want to know your thoughts on this particular video, because it was bringing out evidences on the newspapers, and he also played a video of Julius Malema, what he was saying to, I think during his campaign, or he was just making a video talking about the things blacks are experiencing in their country, and he was using that video as a case reference, as a reference case to what South Africans are doing to white South Africans in South Africa. But to me, to my own understanding, what I'm seeing here is just a propaganda to put out there to tell people that South Africans are xenophobic, South Africans are violent, South Africans do not like white people in their country. But these people have literally been living, even after the apartheid, after the genocide, as in they have been living in South Africa for a very long time. And South Africans have already taken them as South Africans, like they are no longer their colonizers, they are now part of South Africa. So all of a sudden, Trump coming up with that whole idea of, the white South Africans are no longer safe in South Africa, like all of a sudden. Like after how many years you decide to come up with this agenda, putting out some flights to bring back the white South Africans back home to America, and not just coming back home to America, but to come back to America to become refugee. See, if African leaders can know that these people do not have their interest at heart, what they want from you is your resources, nothing else. So if they're not getting what they want from you, they'll begin to put out some of this propaganda. They begin to put out some of these things to make people feel that this particular country is unsafe for people to go to. This is my own thoughts. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Please drop your thoughts, because your comments, your thoughts matters a lot. You know, this is what I think. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe.